tournament is coming. Now is not the time to push out. You're going to fight the best in the world.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1. This was released fairly recently on Netflix and it follows directly on from the end of Season 5 and everybody's favourite. So backing it, of course, we've got Ralph Macchio, William Zabka and everybody else that you expect. Right, okay, so they split this into two parts to try and drag out the final season as much as they can, obviously. And as we found out at the end of last season, they have all been approved to enter the Sakataikai tournament, and I've probably said that wrong. And this first part of Season 6 is all about... Now we've got, obviously, Daniel and Johnny working together to try and figure out which are the strongest students to represent the dojo. Well, the first issue that they have is deciding the name for the dojo, and that causes a bit of conflict, obviously, between Johnny and Daniel. The tensions that the students had previously are, generally speaking, all put to one side within the first couple of episodes. Everybody's all lovey-dovey and huggy and touchy-feely and happy and jolly, all that kind of stuff. Even Daniel and Johnny are getting on pretty well for the most part. And then you can start to see really tensions start to rise when they find out that only 6 team members from the dojo can enter the tournament. So the first half of this season is figuring out which are going to be not only the 6 strongest students, but also the team captains, or a boy and a girl team captain sort of thing. So you get this whole process of them being trained and figuring out who's going to be entering and representing Miyagi-Do. You've got some old faces returning, certainly for this first part. And then some tensions start to rise, like I say, because the students have started to become a little bit more competitive to try and see who's going to be the strongest student to represent the dojo. And then obviously you've got Kreese, who is out of prison and he makes his way over abroad somehow. And he joins the rival dojo abroad, the dojo that we saw a little bit of in the last series. So we've got Kreese that's back, and he seems to be popping back between Japan and the US at will, sort of thing. He keeps popping up and trying to get the strongest student that he thinks from Miyagi-Do, patentless Tori, to swap sides and all this kind of stuff. We've also got a side storyline where Daniel finds a hidden box where he learns a little bit more about Mr. Miyagi's past that he didn't know, a darker past, if you like, that causes him a little bit of conflict. And that's really the majority of what you get here in Season 6. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here. I wasn't really in a rush to watch this when it first came on. I just wasn't feeling it. All the other seasons I were really quite looking forward to. I thought, and this one, I think I'll probably get a bit of burnout from the series. I think after last season, it's it does kind of feel like the last couple of seasons, and this one included, the kind of maybe overstretching the idea and the concept, and it's just managing to hold together and be good and entertaining. And this season is no different, really. It feels like it's spreading itself a little bit thin. The side storylines are less interesting, in my opinion. There's no real tension early on, and it slowly builds, I guess you could say, till the end of the 5th episode. But it's, I don't know, it just kind of felt a little bit tame for me. And the whole concept of, we've had Kreese as this villain before, he was the main villain in the early seasons, and it just, I don't know, it needed something else, I think. Now, it does kind of, I think the final episode, which is long, I think the longest episode, about 40 minutes, maybe a bit longer, was a decent episode, and it sets up the final episodes very, very well indeed. And there's even a little twist and surprise. Well, you could call it a twist and a surprise, but everybody can see it coming an absolute mile away. It's not exactly hard to figure it out. So it's fairly predictable as well, you could argue this. But the fighting's still very good. The martial arts is still of a very, very strong standard. And, you know, it's still an entertaining show to watch, but I think they're pulling the plug just at the right time, really, with this being the final season. And I think they're doing a movie, I think. I'm right in thinking that. So I'm interested to see maybe what they do with that, how they're going to kind of, you know, develop a movie sort of thing. How is it going to incorporate, you know, the whole Karate Kid ethos and all that kind of stuff in the show, and what other stories do they really have to tell? So yeah, I mean, I'm glad I've checked them out now. I didn't binge watch them either, and I think that's quite telling for me as well. Normally, I mean, there was only 5 episodes, well, they're not long episodes. I didn't binge watch them. I was like watching one a day sort of thing, and then I think I watched the final 2 episodes together for this season. So I think that kind of tells you that I'm just not really feeling this season in the same way. I think the characters now are, I don't know, fairly tired. I think we needed some fresh blood introducing in regards to characters, and you don't really get that here. And then you get to see some of the same old rivalries kind of rise up as some of the episodes go on. And again, it just feels like we're treading on familiar ground here, so to speak. So while I did enjoy the first part, I'm hoping that the second part really picks up. Because the second part is, I'm not actually sure how many episodes there are in part 2, but I'm presuming it's a similar amount of episodes, but I'm not sure how they're going to drag that out maybe over the amount of episodes they're going to do, because at the end of this one, they're kind of arriving at the Sakai Taikai, whatever it's called. So we'll see how it develops. I will obviously check out the second part of season 6. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10 for the first part of season 6. Enjoyable, nice to see a lot of familiar faces. The martial arts is still good, but a lot of the storylines that are going along feel a little bit now overused, a little bit draining, and not particularly interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.